Hi YouTube. Alright, I'm here to review Aladdin. This was probably my favorite movie I opened for Christmas because I opened up this, The Little Mermaid, and Sleeping Beauty. This was my second favorite Disney movie as a kid. Now it's my third because Tangled took the first place and Lion King got down the second. Let's get to discussion. So we get off with it. So we start off with a like merchant voiced by Robin Williams showing off items saying it will not break. Showing that it's a coffee maker and fries maker, and he said it will not break. It broke. And then he put it aside and then said, and then later he pulled out the lamp, and then he went and he was explaining, and he said, what is inside? This is no ordinary lamp. And he said, it once changed the future of a great man known only, or a diamond in the rough. Perhaps you would like to hear the tale? It begins on a dark night. So I'm going to tell you everything because this is a great movie. And try to review it to the best I can. So let's go to the part which really goes. Okay, so you open up, there's Jafar, the main villain, who is the Grand Vizier to the Sultan of Agrabah, and he is attempting to retrieve a lamp that is inside the Cave of Wonders. So a thief named Gazim meets him in the desert. So he has two parts of a bug that lights up and goes, and then you get into then it makes the tiger head of the Cave of Wonders. So you see the Cave of Wonders, and then Gazim goes and he says, the Cave of Wonders asks, who disturbs my slumber? And he says, it is I, Kazim, a humble thief. And he said, know this, only one may enter here, one whose something lies deep within, a diamond in the rough, something like that. I think it's, hold on. Oh, whoops. Yeah, so what the Cave of Wonders was said to hold is, he says, is what the Cave of Wonders was, hold on. Sorry for the inconvenience. He said only one may enter here, and I think he says one's worth who lies far within, something like that. A diamond in the rock. So Gazim enters and then gets killed by the Cave of Wonders, and Jafar screamed no, and then the cave said, seek thee out, the diamond in the rock. And he says, Iago gets pissed off, who's voiced by Gilbert Gottfried, who I love for his comedy, but his voice is annoying, but he's still funny. He's like, and then he said, we got a big problem, and he said, I think I'm going to have a heart attack from that surprise. And then Jafar says, yes, only one may enter here. I must find this one, this diamond in the rock. So Aladdin was stealing a loaf of bread, and he says, and then they said, stop, thief! I will have your hand for a trophy, street rat. And he said, all this for a loaf of bread? And then he jumped. And then he says, then they said, getting into a little bit of trouble today, aren't we, Aladdin? And he said, excuse me, trouble? No, I'm only in trouble if I get caught. Gotcha! Now I'm in trouble, and this time, and Abu draped the hat over Razul's head, and he said, perfect timing, Abu, as usual, and Abu went, Abu! Or something like that. He went, Abu! And then they were running, and Aladdin was singing a song, forgive me for this, called One Jump, which was a good song. So he was evading every soldier. And I believe he was pushing barrels down on them. Jumping, Abu goes and grabs a sword and goes to the guards and he says, he's got a sword! You idiot! We've all got swords! And then Abu went, yee! And he runs off. And then goes and then they were hanging out together. And then Aladdin in the end grabs a carpet and jumps. Don't try that at home. Yeah, to quote Brandon Johnson, kids, don't try that at home, because it's not going to work. It's not TV. It's not a cartoon in real life. And then I think the soldiers land and fertilizer the guards, and then Aladdin and Abu start feasting, and then he sees two starving kids, and then he didn't take a bite of his bread because he said, now we feast. And Abu took a bite, and then Aladdin took his half of the loaf and gave it to the starving kids. And then Abu went over with the rest, even though he took a bite out of it and gave it to them. And then they were about to, then they thanked them, and then they were in front of a horse, and then he threw a slash whip at them, and Aladdin caught it and said, hey, if I was as rich as you, I could afford some manners. He said, I'll teach you some manners. It was a suitor for the prince to marry Princess Jasmine. Well, it didn't work out, but the funny thing, Aladdin says, look at that, Abu. It's not every day you see a horse with two rear ends. Yeah, and then he said, you're a worthless street rat. You were born a street rat, you'll die a street rat, and only your fleas will moan you. And then he says, I'm not worthless, and I don't have fleas, which is true. He had a nice place where he lives. You just open up the curtain, and you see the beautiful palace, and you see the great view. That's what I like. I like scenery like that. And then the prince leaves in outrage and was pissed off, and then he left. And then he needed help. He did. The Sultan needed help getting his daughter married. She was like 15, about to turn 16. And she was taking care of birds, and Raja was her only real friend, and she was mad. And then Iago and Jafar were plotting how this could happen, so they took the diamond ring, because Jafar is still trying to find the diamond in the Roth. He wants to find who can enter the cave. So then what Aladdin does is he meets Jasmine because she disguised herself and snuck out of the palace because she wants to live her own life. So what goes on is the day's going on. She stole an apple for a poor kid, and she was about to get her hand removed with a whatchamacallit, a sword. And Abu had already tried stealing a melon, and then as he was getting distracted with Abu, Aladdin stole a melon, and the guy who was selling the melon got distracted, and then Aladdin took a melon. Yeah. And then he meets Jasmine, and then he tells her that Jasmine thinks the monkey is the Sultan, so she said to Abu, "Oh, hi, Sultan, how may I serve you?" Something like that. And then they took everything. They took, like, gold bracelets, necklaces, beads, and apples, and then they all ran off. And then Aladdin's helping Jasmine, but then Jafar, of course, so I'm showing this so much, and Iago, yes, parrot, are working, and he was spinning this gear, and Jafar said, "Please, or Sands of Time, show me who can enter the Cave of Wonders." So it showed Aladdin climbing up a ladder and helping Jasmine. And he said, "That's him? That's who we've been waiting all this time for," or something like that. And then finally, it goes back to Aladdin. Aladdin and Jasmine are at Aladdin's house, and then here it comes. The guards come and catch him and say they're going to take him to the dungeon. And then he says, "Do you trust me? Do you trust me?" "Yes." "Then jump!" And then they jumped. And kids, don't try that at home either. Never try any of this at home. Actually, as a matter of fact, yeah. So then Aladdin gets yelled at by the guards, but then Jasmine says to him, or says to them, "Let him go." And he said, "Looky here, everyone, a street mouse." And she said, "Unhand him by order of the princess." And she took the hood off of her head, and they went, "Princess Jasmine." You know what strikes me as odd? They didn't recognize her until she showed the headband. And then his orders came from Jafar. And I think the main reason Jafar had them capture Aladdin was so he could be brought, so Jafar could get into the Cave of Wonders. That's basically the truth, probably. Yeah. And he said his crime was kidnapping the princess, because he said, "I would, princess, but my orders come from Jafar. You'd have to go take it up with him." And she said, "Believe me, I will." And he said, "The penalty is death." And she started to cry. She felt heartbroken. Next, it takes in dungeon, and then Abu went, "Woo!" He said, "She was a princess. I can't believe it. Must have sounded so stupid to her." And Abu went, "Hey, Aladdin, hello." And he went, "Abu, down here." And then Abu went and then helped Aladdin out, and then they were not too happy with the princess thing. But then Jafar was in the jail, disguised as an old guy, as an old man, with a walking stick. And then he did that little stretchy mouth smile, wheezy laugh thing. And then he snuck him out of jail, and then the Cave of Wonders, that's what Jafar brought Aladdin to. He showed him how to get out, and then he says, "Who disturbs my slumber?" like he did at the beginning. Excuse me. Then Aladdin said, "It is I, Aladdin." And he said, "Proceed. Touch nothing but the lamp." And then he went in, and Abu was gonna grab something. Don't bring Abu next time, Aladdin, because he was about to grab treasure, because he said a handful of the stuff would make me richer than the Sultan, is what Aladdin said. And then Abu almost grabbed a jeweled ring, and Jafar earlier said it has enough riches to impress people, and riches beyond your wildest dreams. And then Abu was like, ooh! And then they were going farther in, and then they met the magic carpet. But the funny thing, it was following Abu, and then it rolled up, then it took his hat and put it on, and then he screamed, and then the carpet freaked out and lay down, or went away, and then he said, a magic carpet, hey, come on out. And he gave Aladdin the hat, and then he put it on Abu's head, or gave it to Aladdin put it on Abu's head, and then Abu took him, put it on his head, and started going to the carpet, started screaming at him, and then the carpet went and just walked off, and he said, hey, don't go, maybe you could help us. And then the carpet started acting excited, and he said, see, we're trying to find this lamp. And he said, I think he knows where it is. And then he took them, and Abu was squeaking happily or excited, and then he pointed, and then he went, wait here. And then he went up, and Abu saw this really good treasure. It was like ruby, like a gem, forbidden treasure. I'll get to that in a minute. So I'll get to that when it's time. So Aladdin goes up and grabs the lamp and says, this is it? This is what we came all the way down here to? And he went, Abu, no! Because the carpet was grabbing Abu's tail, and then he grabbed the treasure, and the treasure went, infidels! And he went, uh-oh! And then the Cave of Wonders went, you have touched the forbidden treasure! And then Abu puts it back and smiles, and then he looks at it with shock because everything's starting to turn into lava. And then he said, now you will never again see the light of day! And a big fireball appeared, and then Aladdin jumped off and started sliding down this slide, and then the carpet came and caught him. The stairway had become a slide, and then he was flying, and then he grabbed Abu, and Abu was like, help, help, help! And he said, gotcha! Then a big tidal wave of lava was coming and went, whoa, carpet, let's move! Then Larry's like, Abu, this is no time to panic! Start panicking! And he went, whoa, whoa, or something like that. And then, Aladdin was freaking out. He, flew. They kept on flying, and then he was up on stairs, about to fall, and he said, Jafar went, throw me the lamp! And he went, help me out! That's what Aladdin said, and then he went, throw me the lamp! I can't, hold on, give me your hand! First, give me the lamp! And he went, yes, at last! And Abu was helping Aladdin up, and then he kicked him out of his hand, and he said, what are you doing? And Jafar went, giving you your reward, your eternal reward, and was about to kill him with a knife. Pardon me, Jafar's an ungrateful asshole. Pardon my language. Aladdin just risked his life to give Jafar a lamp that he was after. What an ungrateful asshole he is. Again. And then Abu bites Jafar in the arm, and then he throws him down. That's what that's what Jafar did. And then the carpet got out and caught them both as they were falling. And then I think And Jasmine was really sad. And she said Jafar has done something. Jafar has done something terrible. And the Sultan said, tell me everything. And I think that's what happened. Then Abu went, Aladdin, wake up, Aladdin. And he said, oh, my head. And he said, we're trapped. That two-faced son of a jackal. And Abu went, Chah. And went, whoever he was, he's long gone with that lamp. And Abu went, aha. And he went, well, you hairy little thief. Looks like an old broken piece of junk. But I think there's something written here. I think there's something written in here, but it's hard to make out. And then the genie came out and went, ah, hi! 10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck. Hang on a second. Wow, does it feel good to be out of there? Hi, nice to be back, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, where are you from? What's your name? And he went, Aladdin. Aladdin. Hello, Aladdin. Welcome to the show. Can we call you Al or maybe just Din? Or how about Lottie? Sounds like, here, boy. Come on, Lottie. You smoke? Mind if I do? Oh, I hope I didn't singe their fur. Sorry. Hiccups. Then he said, yo, Rugman, haven't seen you in a few millennia. Give me some Tao, yeah, yo. And then he went, must have hit my head harder than I thought or something like that. And then later, he said, I'm your master? That's right. He can be taught. Something like that. So then they were going through and he said, now I know I'm dreaming. Then he sung the You've Never Had a Friend Like Me. And then he told him he can't kill anyone. He can't make anyone fall in love with anybody else. And he can't bring people back from the dead. He said, it's like, I can't, rule number 1, I can't kill anyone. Yeah, so don't ask. Rule number 2, I can't make anybody fall in love with anybody else. Mwah, you little poonum there. Rule number 3, I can't bring people back from the dead. It's not a pretty picture. I don't like doing it. Other than that, you got it. Then he said, prizos? You mean limitations? Yeah, on wishes? Some old powerful genie can't even bring people back from the dead. I don't know, Boo. Looks like we're going to have to find our way out of this cave by ourselves or something like that. And he says, and then the genie comes in front of him and says, excuse me, are you looking at me? Did you rub my lamp? Did you wake me up? Did you bring me out of there or something? It's like, excuse me, you looking at me? Did you rub my lamp? Did you wake me up? Did you bring me here? And all of a sudden you were walking out of me? Something like that. He's like, I don't think so. Not right now. You're getting your wishes, so sit down. Then he said, in case of emergency, the exits are here. Anywhere. Keep your hands and arms inside the carpet. Where? Out of here. And of course, the genie is voiced by Robin Williams. My favorite character in the whole movie, the genie. And then when Jasmine gets the chance to be queen, she wants to get Jafar out for good. Because she's pissed off at him about the Aladdin thing, which Aladdin is still alive. Yay! And then he said, if only I had gotten that lamp! Because when he took it off, he said, it's mine. It's all mine. Where is it? Hey, where is it? No! Something like that. And then I think it turned back to Aladdin or Jasmine, something like that. And then Aladdin said she'll get married after she gets a chump husband. And then Yaga says, what if you were the chump husband? What? If you marry the princess. Then we drop, yes, married. Then we drop Papa-in-law and the little woman off a cliff. Yeah, curse splat! And they started laughing about it, and then it turns back to Aladdin and the genie. He says, "Thank you for hold on." And he said, "Thank you for choosing." As a female tour guide, he said, the genie said, "Thank you for choosing Magic Carpet for all your travel needs. Don't stand until the rug has come to a complete stop. Thank you, goodbye now, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye." Or thank you, goodbye. "Well, how'd you like that, Mr. Starting Mufasa?" And he says, "Oh, you sure showed me. Now, about my 3 wishes. Dost my ears deceive me? 3? You're down by 1, boy. No, I never actually wished to get out of the cave. You did that on your own. Well, I feel sheepish. Alright, you bad boy, but no more freebies." And then he wanted the prince wish because he told him about Jasmine. He said, "I can't make anybody fall in love." And he says, "The prince thing," and he says, so he goes back, and then Jafar comes up with the plan of having Jasmine marry him. So it's a mix-up. And then he had the snake staff to control the Sultan. But then the Sultan hears a fanfare. And it's Aladdin. He says, "Jafar, you must come and see this." And then they're like, "Make way for Prince Ali. Say, hey, it's Prince Ali." And then Robin Williams, the genie, starts singing and showing off, and he's like, "Prince Ali, fabulous, Alibaba." And then they started singing, and he was marching them through. And he can make the best entrance because he has a genie who can make anything. And he said he faced the galloping wards, 100 bad guys with swords, something like that. And then Aladdin made it in and was riding on the carpet. And then Jasmine was ticked, so she wasn't listening to anything so far. But then in the end, he went to go see her, and he said, "Tell her the truth." Oh, she'd laugh at me. And then the funny thing is, Abu tries to open up a banana and it squirts in his eye, and he just throws it. And then he said, "So move." That's what the genie said to the carpet, and he said, "Hey, that's a good move. I can't believe it. I'm losing to a rug." And then next up, they go. He goes to see Jasmine, and then Jasmine wasn't too happy, and she was kind of ticked off. And then he says, "You're very punctual. Oh, sorry. Beautiful. Nice recovery." And then they're talking, and like, "Warning, mayday, mayday." And then she said, "Go jump off a cliff," so he did. And then, or jump off the balcony, and he did, and he was on the carpet. And she said, "How are you doing that?" "It's a magic carpet. It's lovely." And he said, "You don't want to go for a ride, do you? We could get out of the palace, see the world." And then they're singing "A Whole New World," which is a beautiful song. All the songs in this movie, "A Whole New World" is lovely. A lovely song. I'd have to say One Jump is a really good song. Prince Ali and Never Had a Friend Like Me are really catchy to me. And then they're in China, and then they kissed. But there was something else that Jafar said. He said, I must say, Prince Habubu, Hababwa, or I think it's time to say goodbye to Prince Habubu, or Habubu, something like that. I know, he does not like him at all. And then he said, I think you, and he kissed Jasmine and was riding on the magic carpet down to earth, and he went, yes! For the first time in my life, things are going right. And then the guards grabbed him and he said, I think you've worn out your welcome, Prince Habubu. That's what Jafar said. And then he says, make sure he's never found, because he got a strong boulder, or like, I don't know what those things are called. Hold on, sorry for the inconvenience. Sorry for the inconvenience. Razul and the other guards strapped like a weight with a chain on Aladdin's leg to prevent him from swimming in there, so it would kill and drown him. And then Razul started laughing, and then the lamp was under there, and then he rubbed the lamp, and then because he was fainting, and then the genie was taking a bath, and he said, never fails to get in a bath, then there's a rebel lamp. And he squeaks a duck and he says, hello, Al? Al, kid, snap out of it. Oh, you can't cheat on this one. I can't save you unless you make a wish. And I think he said, you have to say, Genie, I want you to save my life. Got it? And he went, come on, Aladdin. And he went, I'll take that as a yes. Ooh, ooh, and dresses up as a submarine and starts talking, and that's, I think he started talking in German, because I checked the subtitles and it says blabbing in German, and then he took him up and he said, don't you scare me like that again. And he said, Genie, thanks. And he said, oh, Al, I'm getting kind of fond of you. That I want to pick out curtains or something. I think he said something like that. And then Jasmine was something like a whole new world, and then her dad came and he said, And he said, Jasmine? And she said, Father, I've had the most wonderful time. I'm so happy. And he said, you should be, Jasmine, because I have chosen a suitor for you. What? You will wed Jafar. And he said, you're speechless, I see, if I'm quality in a white. I will never marry you. Father, I choose Prince Ali. And he went, Prince Ali left, and then Jafar went, or he said, Prince Ali left, and then Aladdin said, better check your crystal ball again, Jafar. And he went, and she went, Prince Ali, and then Yaga went, huh? How in the hell? Huh? Ach. He started like repeating everything everyone else would say, but then when he's with Jafar, he would talk on his own. So then he went, and then he said, tell him the truth, Jafar. You tried to have me killed. Oh, nonsense. He is obviously lying. And he said, obviously lying. Father, what's wrong with you? And he said, I know what's wrong. And then he takes the staff and then smashes it. And he said, oh, why? Your Highness, Jafar's been controlling you with this. And he says, what? Jafar, you traitor. And he went, Your Majesty, all this can be explained. Guards. And he said, then Yaga went, dig a grave for both of us, because we're dead. And then Jafar looks at Aladdin and sees the lamp in the hat that he has in his pocket. And then he finally realizes who Aladdin is. Not that he could recognize his face, like they couldn't recognize Jasmine's face when she took that hood off her head. They couldn't recognize her until she took the hood off her head. Let me rephrase that. So he saw that he had the lamp, so he thought Prince Ali must really be Aladdin. I don't understand why he didn't recognize his face in the beginning. But, oh well. So then the guards grabbed him and he said, arrest Jafar at once. And he said, this is not done yet. boy! And he went like that, and he disappeared, and he went, find him! Search everywhere! And they took his swords out. Their swords out, went looking for him. And then he went, can this be possible? My daughter has finally found a suitor? Oh, praise Kala! And then everyone was they were happy. He was happy. And then it went back to Jafar and Iago, and he went, Prince Ali is nothing more than that ragged urchin Aladdin. He has the lamp. Why, that miserable... And he said, and you are going to go attain it from him. Me? So then Genie went, he is a conquering hero. Da, 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 da. And then he went, Genie, I wish you free. Because he wants to wish him free. But then he says, I can't wish you free. The only reason I'm good is because of you, or something like that. He says, I was beginning to feel left out. And then he put down the lamp. And he says, he went back into the lamp and he said, Genie, I'm sorry. And went, and he went, fine, then just stay in there. And Iago, disguising his voice as Jasmine called him, and then he went over to where Jasmine really was, and he went, oh boy, because the Sultan presented him, because he was supposed to be Sultan, and he was worried because he doesn't know about ruling. He wants to tell Jasmine the truth, but Iago takes the lamp and gives it to Jafar, and then he says, Genie, grant me my first wish. I wish to rule on high as Sultan. So he takes part of the palace and puts it up, and he says, there's a new order here, my order. And then Aladdin said, oh yeah, well we'll just see about that. He went, the lamp, and Jafar went, finders keepers, a boo boo. And he went, Genie, no, that's what Aladdin said. He said, sorry kid, I got a new master now. He went, now you will bow to me. We will never bow to you. If you won't bow before a sultan, then you will cower before a sorcerer. Genie, my second wish. I wish to be the most powerful sorcerer in the world. And then he went, abject humiliation. But then he went, is Prince Ababwa, but not as you know him. And then later they went, say hello to your precious Prince Ali. Or should we say Aladdin? That's what Iago said. And she went, Ali. And he went, Jasmine, I tried to tell you. And she said, who? And then he went, so long, Prince X Ali. And then he did this weird, crazy laugh. And then he's insane. Jafar is. And then he left because Jafar sent him to the ends of the earth and in a frozen place. And then he went and started digging, got Abu out, and then he tried to dig out the carpet, but then this part of the palace was going to roll out and squash him. But then he laid on the part that had a hole in it, and it went over, and it didn't squash him. So then, yeah, it didn't squish him at all. And trust me, that wouldn't be good if Aladdin got squashed or squished, however you want me to say it, or flattened like a pancake. So then he went back to Agrabah. Let's go. And then it was like an arrow in that little thing, and then they made it back, and and then the Sultan was doing some, because he used to stuff crackers in Iago's mouth, so Iago was stuffing them in the Sultan's mouth, and then Aladdin came back, and then the genie couldn't get Jafar to fall in love with Jasmine, but Jafar wanted that, but then later Aladdin comes back and he says, ow, little buddy, and he went, Mruh, as his zipper, and then went, I can't help you, I work for Senior Psychopath now, what are you gonna do? And he came up with a plan, and then Jasmine was trying to distract Jafar by falling in love with him, and then he went, Jafar, that's what Iago said, but then Abu went, and then a plate fell and a bowl fell, but then Jasmine took that opportunity and kissed Jafar, and Abu went, yeah! And then he went, that was, and he saw on the crown on her head Aladdin, and he said, you, how many times do I have to kill you, boy? And he tried, and he hit him a little bit, but then he tried to fight, and then he came back and he went, get the lamp! And he was struggling with Aladdin, and then he went, no, ha ha ha, princess, your time is up. And she was in an hourglass and sand was pouring on her. And then Jasmine went, or Iago went, ah, nice shot, Jafar! But Abu smashed something on his head and he went, oh. And then later, the carpet, but then he got turned into a toy playing the cymbals, and he's like, Abu! And then the carpet tried to get anything. Things are unraveling faster, boy. Get the point? And then he had everything, swords appear, and then he grabbed a sword and he said, I'm just getting warmed up. And he said, are you afraid to fight me yourself, you cowardly snake? And he said, a snake am I? Perhaps you'd like to see how snake-like I can be. So he tried to bite Aladdin several times, and then Aladdin went, yeah! Or just went, and Jafar started screaming, and then I love this part. What the genie does, he's like, Rick'em rack'em, something's. Hold on. Sorry for the inconvenience. He's like, Rick'em, rock'em, rake, stick that, Rick'em, rock'em, stick, sorry, Rick'em, rock'em, rake, stick that sword into that snake. And they said, you stay out of this. And then Jafar, and then the genie's like, Jafar, he's a man. If he can't do it, great! And then he's getting slashed at, and then he tried to free Jasmine, but then he took the sword, and then he stabbed the genie, and the genie screamed, or he stabbed Jafar, and Jafar screamed. And then he said, you little fool, you thought you could beat the most powerful being on earth. And then Iago went, squeeze him, Jafar, squeeze him like because the genie hit him, and he said, without the genie, boy, you're nothing. The genie has more power than you ever have. What? He gave you your power. He could take it away. Al, what are you doing? Why are you bringing me into this? Face it, Jafar, you're still just second best. And he said, you're right. His power does exceed my own. And he said, I think he's a little punch drunk. One too many hits with the snake. And he went, slave, I make my third wish. I wish to be an all-powerful genie. And he went, alright, I wish to be an all-powerful genie. Alright, your wish is my command. Way to go, Al. And he went, yes, the power. And then he freed Jasmine, Aladdin did, by hitting the hourglass with a plank. And he went, the power, the absolute power. That's what Aladdin was, or Jafar was like. Sorry for making a few mistakes. And then he went, the universe is mine to command, to control. And he went, not so fast, Jafar. Aren't you forgetting something? Huh? You want to be a genie? You got it. What? Everything that goes with it. And he went, no. And Iago said, I'm getting out of here. I don't want to be a genie. I really don't. And this is what the genie said at part of the beginning is, phenomenal cosmic power, itty bitty living space. Then Aladdin's like, phenomenal cosmic power, itty bitty living space. And the genie's like, Al, you little genius, you. And everything got turned back to normal Raja, which I forgot to mention, had been turned into a little cat, and he's like, meow, and then he turned back into a tiger. Abu came back to normal. The carpet came back to normal. Then they flicked the lamp and said, 10,000 years out in the Cave of Wonders ought to chill him out. And he's like, oh, shut up, you moron. That's what Iago said to Jafar. They were starting to hate each other. And he said, shut up. That's what he screamed. That's what Jafar screamed at Iago. And then he went. Then he said, no problem. You still got one wish left. But then he said, Genie, you're free. He said, I wish for your freedom, Genie. One prince coming. What? Genie, you're free. So he said he was free. But then Jasmine was sad because she loves Aladdin. And then the Sultan changed the law and said, well, my Sultan or my Sultan? From this day forward, the princess may marry whoever she deems worthy. And she said, him, I choose you, Aladdin. And he said, call me Al. And then he said, oh, big group hug. He kissed the monkey and got hairball. And he said, bye. Bye. And then later he said, bye, Rugman. And then they were all loving. And then it ended. They went on the carpet. Jasmine and Aladdin did. And I think Genie was laughing or was like acting like a moon in the end, going, they went, made you look, and it ended. Honestly, I give this movie a 10 out of 10. It's awesome. Check it out. I loved this movie as a kid. Like, I was over at a friend's house. They had The Lion King and Aladdin, and so did we, but we had it on VHS. But now I have them both on DVD, and I was spending the night there, and I think I watched Lion King, and I think I watched Aladdin, too. So, wow, both of them. And I've reviewed The Lion King last year, and basically I'd have to say Aladdin's a good time, and kids will love it. Parents, show it to your kids, they'll enjoy it. Yeah. And never try what Aladdin does. I even read this in Calvin and Hobbes because Calvin was going to take like a blanket and drop carefully to the ground, and he went, Geronimo! And I went, crunch. And he said his mom's going to have a fit about those rose bushes. Well, anyway, that's all I have to say. Stay up to date and subscribe. I think next I should be reviewing The Lion King 2. Alright, thank you all for watching. Alright, stay tuned. Bye. Peace.